Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second take. Technical difficulties. Lots and lots of technical difficulties. It's been a day. Well, right now we're talking about Shane Dawson and Jenna marbles.
Yes, and this is going to be a shorter podcast because we're both tired and irritated that we've been having these technical difficulties.
I'm irritated more than just that today. I also lost a piece on my super expensive model kit. Luckily, it wasn't an important one.
Yes. So basically, what has been going on between Jenna Marbles and Shane Dawson? So both of them have been canceled per se, and they both came out with apology statements slash videos. So Shane, a lot of his old content was very what do I want to call it?
Offensive.
Not good, basically. It was very offensive. There came out a video of him actually making fun of the Trayvon Martin situation.
Some people actually,
Which,
I do believe he at one point was claimed to be Onision Light.
yes. Um, and he just had like a very strange energy about him in his older videos. Like his current stuff I actually do like, but he made a lot of racial jokes, and yeah. And then the Jenna Marbles situation, she's being called out for apparently doing blackface when she was parodying a Nicki Minaj video, for making a racial stereotype and joke in one of her parody slash rap videos about a Chinese man, and then also for insinuating gender stereotypes in her old videos, which were like things guys do, things girls do, things guys do that girls don't understand, stuff like that. Which
You
at
mean
the
stuff
time,
that's
like,
true, but that nobody wants to say is true because it's not politically correct?
these at the time, so we're going to give our thoughts on all of these things. So for the Jenna Marbles thing, at the time, and these two YouTubers have been around comparatively for a really long fucking time. So when it comes to relevancy and the YouTube space, or like social media in general, a lot of people would have probably died off, and I don't mean like, I mean in internet fame and stuff like that died off.
Most people would
But
not have
they've
lasted
been
this long,
staying,
is
you
what
know,
she's saying.
right. They've been staying current for a pretty decent amount of time because they have changed up their, content and stuff like that. Well, in her parody video, they were claiming that she was doing blackface because she had on a tanner that was much darker than what she actually is, and it was her dressing up as Nicki Minaj. So people assumed because she was dressing up as an African American woman that she must be doing blackface, which I have watched a decent amount of her old content, and personally, I don't think that it was ever her intention to do such a racially hateful thing. Like, blackface is something that historically is a way to put down African Americans and make fun of them and make them feel less worth. And I don't think that she meant to do that. I think that she got, um, a tanner that was much darker than she had anticipated, or maybe she did think it was for some reason a fucking good idea to make herself look darker because Nicki Minaj is darker. I don't condone that, but I don't know where her headspace was at the
Yeah,
time.
if you're gonna parody someone, you might as well make sure you look completely like them.
But she has grown from that. She's actually privated slash taken down most of her old content. And then the joke
Oh
that
yeah, there's
was,
like except for one video, there's like a 2 to 3 year gap at the beginning of a channel.
yeah, so she has taken down most of her videos. She did a rap slash parody video where she made a stereotype joke about a Asian man, and that got big. And I of course, don't condone any racial stereotyping, and I don't think that she meant for it to be a hateful, racist comment. I think that she was trying to make a joke out of it, which is, it's not a funny joke, obviously, but, you know, I think that people, as like all of us, we say things in our past, even our present, that we're not proud of, because we're human, we're not perfect, and we're always going to say fucked up things, even if we don't mean it, even if we don't believe in it. Or maybe we do believe in it, but we learn and grow from it. And that's, I think, what Jenna Marbles is trying to do. She's not the same person that she was almost 10 years ago when her channel started. And I think that her apology video is sincere, and she is wanting to take accountability for these videos, even though it wasn't her intent to be hateful or offend people.
Yeah, well,
I
unfortunately,
do,
the internet is
you know,
unforgiving.
I do think that it's good that she's owning up to these things, because I think it's worse if you try to hide certain aspects of your past when it comes to, these situations. You don't just really brush it off the rug, and the fact that she owned up to it, I think I respect her transparency with that. Because I didn't know why she was being canceled or where any of this information was, so the fact that she, like, came out with a statement, I do think is a good thing. And then Shane Dawson, so basically one of the major things that he's getting hate on is in his podcast, he made a racial joke towards the Trayvon Martin um, incident that happened. That at the time it was recent, that's why they did, the podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
if you guys don't know or remember what happened with the Trayvon Martin situation, it was a very young African American boy who ended up being a cause of police brutality and died. And he made a very inappropriate joke on that situation that I don't condone, and I'm sure was to him a joke. I don't think he at the time hated black people. I don't think he hates black people now. But, like, there's some jokes that I think just go too far. Personally, I think that he was a bit tone deaf to make a joke like that. That's
Yeah,
like making a joke about the George Floyd thing. Like, it's kind of a respect thing that you don't joke about something like that.
mm, yeah. I won't don't joke about it because one, it when there isn't really anything funny about it.
Right.
You,
I don't exactly remember what he said. I think it was under the lines of, well, Trayvon Martin wouldn't have died if he did blah, 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 which, like, that's not a joke. I don't know why he brought that up. But he also, like, in the video, what I was confused by is he didn't, like, bring that up, which is, like, the main reason why he was getting hate. Like, he was bringing up a bunch of other stuff, but he was saying his apology in almost, like, an ominous way. Like,
he was saying it
a,
in a way of, "Hey, look, you guys didn't believe any of my apologies because uh, I wasn't sincere, and I thought you guys would forgive me right away and whatnot." Here's the thing, guy. Here's the real problem you have. If you think it's because you weren't sincere, no, it's not because you weren't sincere. The reason that nobody's forgiving you is because the internet doesn't forgive. You apologize, and that's you admitting you're guilty. Then they bash you over the head for being guilty. You
yeah,
can't win
some
online,
people,
so just don't
interestingly
try.
enough, is, this is, like, some advice that I've heard. Um, at least when it comes to the internet, like, if you guys remember the Tati and James Charles situation, which kind of relates to the Shane Dawson thing, because he's being under fire for that, for association of people or picking sides, which, like, he wasn't even in the situation, so, like, him speaking on it, really, he didn't need to insert himself into that. But what I will say about that is, like, when it comes to defending yourself or apologizing, I would say and logic-wise, I don't really understand how it makes sense, but the internet says so. Never apologize for what you've done. Explain it, but don't like be weepy and say, I'm so, so sorry, blah, 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 blah. It'll never happen. Like, people
Mm.
don't like to see weakness, and they prey on that.
The internet's full of predators, folks, and the internet will prey on any little sort of weakness, which is why, no matter how much in the wrong we are, except to the specific person by bringing them on the show, we'll never apologize for anything said on this show. Why?
Right,
Because even if we should, we can't, because all you assholes will pounce on us like a pack of rabid dogs.
right.
And that's a real shame. Because people can't apologize even when they want to or really should, because they'll just end up getting attacked.
I think cancel culture has made it where even small things that like aren't um that big of a deal are made so that people get canceled, like similar to the situation of the Emma Chamberlain thing where she was getting canceled over making a photo that people were saying was hatred towards Asians or stereotypes towards Asians. Most people that aren't actually racist would know that I don't think that she intended for those to be pictures making fun of them. Most people wouldn't like openly,
Well,
do
you
something like
see,
that.
here in America, we have this really weird thing. We like to think that it's that we came up with this thing that we're calling cultural appropriation when it really is simply cultures merging, becoming, closer and all that stuff. So we essentially took cultural appreciation, called it cultural appropriation, said you can't do that, you can't enjoy that because that's another thing. By some of these cultural appropriation standards, the fact that right now while I'm talking to you, I'm building a perfect grade Gundam Double O, I shouldn't be allowed to do that because Gunpla and Gundam in anime are Japanese things. I must be culturally appropriating if I enjoyed them, according to the internet.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm doing. I appreciate Japanese culture and their anime and stuff. That's why I have wall scrolls and all this other stuff. And by the way, guys, anime is not the end all be all of Japanese culture, and I understand that. I've actually learned quite a bit more about their culture by studying their language, because when you study a language, you learn and appreciate a culture. Cultural appropriation is I take something from another culture, turn it into something else for a point against that culture. And also, there's no such thing as cultural appropriation anyways, because cultures evolve by merging themselves together. That's how they change, that's how they grow. So, cultural appropriation really is never a thing. It's a new idea that you can supposedly appropriate culture when no, you're simply blending the cultures together. There's plenty of things in our traditions that come from other cultures. Do you think European culture is a blend of things that are left over from Rome's, the barbarians, all that stuff, all mixed together? It's how civilization evolves over time.
Right. So I just think that right now people are getting too heated and too wanting to make other people look bad.
People always want to make other people look bad. Laura, we live in a predatory society,
That is true.
unfortunately. Unfortunately, all the jackasses on the internet can't will never leave anybody alone. So, they gotta make, and they're all miserables. They gotta make sure you're miserable right along with them.
Yes, that is true. Oh, interesting story. Since it seems like we've only been talking on this subject for about 15 minutes. So I was watching Dr. Phil.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how Dr. Phil people are saying, oh, it's like staged, or like, oh, Dr. Phil ain't shit, he don't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. Well,
Well, quite a bit of it is staged, but
I don't really know about that. But there was this couple and their kids that went on the show. And this one struck me as interesting. So basically, these are basically two nobodies. They're not like celebrities or anything. And they live in a really rural area, not a whole lot of people around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they set up a home security system. And maybe they have middle class money so they could afford to do such a thing. Well, anyways, it got hacked. And this wasn't like a regular type of hack. So like they called the police. The hackers were like actually speaking to like the daughter, asking like you need to get like so and so. So the person they were referring to was like the husband. And this really freaked out the family because like, they know where they lived. It seemed like they wanted to evoke harm on them. They were texting them, they were like contacting them through everything. And it was just a really, scary situation to hear.
Oh
But
yeah.
like, I just don't,
But that kind of hacking, that
you
means
know.
somebody was out to get them.
Yeah, like, I think of a hacker as, you
Typically,
know,
typically hackers are mostly harmless. They don't really do a whole lot other than steal your shit or mess with your shit. But
they steal your identity and want your money. That's about it. But these hackers, I think that,
these
they,
hackers were targeting these people because your average hacker is not going to go the extra mile
to try to text you
to text you and all
or
that stuff.
make like threatening things about your kid. So my guess is that, and I didn't watch the actual like episode on
And
it, and
unfortunately, when it comes to Dr. Phil, you can't really watch the episodes because they don't put them anywhere online.
yeah,
All you can see
this
is
was
these
just
freaking clips.
like a Facebook ad showing, 1 to 3 minutes of it. So that's all I could like watch. But I was thinking to myself, wow, that's really scary, but at the same time, because it was so targeted, it leads me to think that like maybe these hackers were like secret people that had like some weird thing against them. Like, I don't think a regular hacker would just be like, oh, let's fucking scare the shit out of this person. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't think
no,
most
regular
hackers are
hackers aren't
that
gonna
bored.
take that much time and effort into it.
Like, if I was a hacker, not that I would ever want to be, because I think that's a waste of
I
time.
know someone, or at least when we worked at McDonald's, we worked with someone who was in Anonymous.
What do you mean?
There was a guy we worked with, well, that I worked while I was there. He was a member of Anonymous,
What's that?
the hacktivist group, the activist hackers that hack all the bad guys.
So he was like a professional hacker?
No, they're not professionals. They're just a bunch of people that are hackers that like to give a hard time to evil people.
So, like, he knew a decent amount about computers and IP addresses, is what you're saying?
Well, there's more to it than that, but yes.
I feel like they handled the situation wrong. Like, oh, I know this is a lighthearted comment in a very unlighthearted situation, but this one person was saying, just change the password and maybe keep a gun on your bedside table.
Yeah, those would be actually two very. That actually is very good advice.
Because, if someone's out to get you,
This wasn't out to get them move. Hack
um, you know,
hackers are not going to do this to some random person. Granted, there's a possibility that these may be extremely malicious hackers in places like India or Nigeria.
I'm not sure. Because then, like, what would they do? Like, they said something along the lines of, we will find you, or we will get you, or you're such a bitch, or whatever.
Yeah, probably a bunch of scammer hackers. They'll go to surprising lengths to scare you to get them to give you money.
And, like, that's the weird thing. Like, they never did ask for money. It was like,
Well, then it's someone they pissed off.
I. And because, they hacked and they can change the voice and shit, you can't really tell who it was. Um, so actually, it wasn't even the family. It was specifically the mother that they were like making these threats towards. So
So
I can only imagine she probably pissed off someone, and that person hacked them.
probably another chick.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
Oh, come on. Who do you know is that petty that's not a... Well, actually, never mind. I know a couple guys. But most of the time, when that sort of shit happens and it's pointed at a woman, it's usually another woman. Typically.
and no one believed me about James.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it'll come out one day that one of them was having an affair and someone... Or it was a secret marriage that the other one... That guy was actually married to somebody else.
Well, if it was a hacker, my guess is that they probably didn't resolve it in the episode that it aired. Because it's very hard to track hackers, and because they did try to take it to the police, and the police can't really do anything in that situation.
No, that's an FBI. That's an FBI. That type of stuff goes to a specified FBI task force on cybercrime. Your local police aren't gonna be able to do a damn thing. You gotta go to feds.
Yeah, which it's hard to say if they would take the case or not.
Oh, they would, except it'd be stuck in their backlog and wouldn't be solved for decades, if ever. So you have all that stuff going on.
Yeah, there's probably too many things preoccupying their time. That would be an interesting field to go into.
What, cybercrime?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
What do you mean, no?
I said yes and no.
Well, why would it be no?
Well, have you ever talked to someone who's in the cybercrimes division of a place?
No.
Well, let's just say the cybercrime guy is also the IT guy for everything. And what do you think is the number one thing they catch on computers and that they're looking for in a computer?
A virus?
No. I'm sorry, but I don't want to have to go through someone's computer looking for pictures of naked kids all day. It's not funny. Like, these guys have to go in and they have to go essentially view child porn. Some of the most disgusting shit ever.
Ugh.
So that they can prove that it's on the system. They have to find it, view it, and verify that it is there so it can be admitted into evidence.
That would be a weird job.
Yeah. A lot of computer investigators, cyber investigators, do a lot of tracking down the child porn.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, pedophiles are a thing.
I used to watch some videos where like people are trying to catch predators.
Oh,
and
that
stuff
reminds
like
me.
that.
I saw one thing that was a video about Shane Dawson apparently did this pretend to jerk off to Willow Smith.
I watched that video too. I forgot to bring
so
that video
cringe, so much cringe.
And
that is why I think he must be Onision Light, because that sounds like something Onision would do.
that does sound like something Onision do. And interestingly enough, Shane is very now gay. But at the time he did, like a while ago, claim he was straight and had a girlfriend. So the
Are we
fact
sure
that
he's actually gay, or is he playing it up for the views? This is Shane Dawson we're talking about.
he's been married for a couple years.
That don't mean shit. There are plenty of gay men that are married to women.
Yeah.
Being married doesn't prove your sexuality.
But yeah, it was very creepy because Willow Smith, I think, was like 11 at the time. Like, I think she's of age now, barely.
Barely, and also, I think he was trying to be funny about it. I didn't see the whole video, I just saw a clip.
From what I saw, I think he was trying to be funny about it too, but when you
I
see
think
it,
he
it's just
was
very
trying.
wrong.
I think he was trying to make a parody like statement. Say, oh, because apparently everyone thinks it's so much this, and then you know how sometimes like a comedian go, oh, like they're joking off or something, but they're not
I
really.
think it was a joke on pedophilia, and it just didn't go good, is what the problem
Or it
is.
was a decent joke on that, and people took it out of context and put it in clips and other videos. But
I mean, he did make the joke about the Willow Smith thing. Actually, interestingly enough, the Smiths, um, Willow's brother, I think his name's CJ or something like that, and Jada, which is the mother, made statements on the situation and says, I can't believe you're such a fucking horrible human being sexualizing a child. Um, and like these are Will Smith and like the rest of his family, for the most part, don't really speak on topics like that and are pretty unproblematic from what I could tell. So
Will
when they're
Smith
when
doesn't
they're
really.
canceling you, you kind of fucked up.
Here's the thing: there are things right now going on with China in the Chinese, in the Indochina area between China and India and Japan, and the Democrats and Republicans are coming together against China. Like everyone's pissed off at China, even guys who hate each other and don't agree on anything. When you fucked up? When two people who don't agree on anything all of a sudden agree that you're the asshole. That's when you know you fucked up. It's like when both the KKK and Black Lives Matter and Antifa, all three mad at you. You know you did something wrong.
Yeah.
You can't. There was a point where you're like, oh yeah, you fucked up.
Yeah. And he did, and he's paying the price for it.
Yeah, he's not paying the price for fucking up. He's paying the price of apologizing. And since it's Shane Dawson, eventually everyone will forget about it, and then he'll go right back to whatever he was doing.
It's hard to say.
That's how this always works.
I mean, they almost completely ruined James Charles' career.
Yeah, and then these people disappear for a while, and then they come back later.
Yeah.
It's kind of how this works. You apologize, you act like you got canceled, then you get yourself uncanceled because it's the internet and you're not. Now, if you're someone, let's say, who's, I don't know, way out there and working in an industry and all this stuff, then there is a chance that because you work in the industry that you will not be able to, get all this sorted out. Because the industry never wants to hire you again because you're a pariah. But when you're an
Mm-hmm.
internet personality with your own following, your own platform, you can be deplatformed. You can be this as many times as you want. All you have to do is start again from obscurity. Wait a few years. I know Infowars went so far off the deep end that they got deplatformed so hard that Alex Jones, they seriously, you can't. Apple took his apps off the App Store for his show that he does. They almost never do that sort of shit. But Apple went and took the apps off his apps off their App Store.
Hmm.
And so you can't even get his app to listen to a show, which I actually kind of wish I could, because if someone's going to be crazy and throwing out crazy stuff, you want to hear what they're actually saying so that when, you hear, oh, they said this, you can keep it in proper context and fight back against bad ideas. I try never to silence anyone that disagrees with me. Because,
No, I want to continue that argument.
yeah, because silencing people does nothing but make you stupid.
Yes, I agree. I reached over 1 million views on my TikTok.
Oh, yay. Good for you. Well, it's been about a half an hour now. I think that's good for today.
Yep. Thank you guys for
Yep.
hearing us give our opinions on current social media stuff.
Yeah, and being with completely going off topic again,
Yeah.
which shall happen again next week,
Yes, it will.
as long as we
Thank you
actually remember to
guys.
record earlier.
Yes.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye now.